The year was 1790, and France was no longer the kingdom it once had been. Just a year earlier, angry Parisians had stormed the Bastille, shaking the very foundations of monarchy. Now, in towns and villages across the nation, the air buzzed with a new idea, that the people themselves could shape their destiny. For centuries, France had been a land of inequality. The nobles dined in glittering halls, free from taxes, while peasants bent their backs in fields, barely surviving. But in the National Assembly, a bold decision had already changed history. On the fateful night of August 4th, 1789, deputies stood up one after another, denouncing their own privileges. Titles, feudal dues, and centuries of aristocratic power crumbled in a single night. By the dawn of 1790, the French peasant was no longer bound to his lord. He was free. This wave of change brought with it a powerful declaration. The Assembly drafted the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, a document that thundered across Europe. All men are born and remain free and equal in rights, it proclaimed. To the oppressed, these words were a spark of hope. To kings and nobles, they were a warning. Yet, revolution was never a calm tide. It was a storm. In the streets of Paris, political clubs multiplied. The Jacobins, the Cordeliers, and others debated passionately, their words echoing through taverns and meeting halls. Ordinary citizens now felt the weight of history on their shoulders. Across the countryside, peasants raided manor houses, burning feudal records as if erasing centuries of chains. But the most daring reform of 1790 struck at the heart of French identity: the Church. For generations, the Catholic Church had stood as the moral pillar of society, its priests and bishops wielding immense power. Now, with the civil constitution of the clergy, the Assembly declared that bishops and priests would be chosen by the people and paid by the state. No longer would Rome dictate France's faith. Some cheered the change, seeing freedom from centuries of religious dominance. Others were horrified, fearing the revolution had gone too far, severing the sacred bond between faith and nation. And in the middle of this storm stood King Louis XVI. Outwardly, he smiled and signed the decrees. Inwardly, he trembled. Could a king still rule in a land where citizens called themselves sovereign? His hesitation, his secret correspondence with monarchs abroad, only deepened suspicion. More and more, the people began to whisper, perhaps France no longer needed a king at all. By the end of 1790, the revolution had crossed a point of no return. The old order was dead, and a new world was struggling to be born. France had declared liberty and equality, but it was only the beginning. Ahead lay trials, terror, and triumph as the revolution raced toward destiny.